Richard Windsor is responsible for coordination, marketing and branding of Nomura's global technology research, and he's based in Dubai and joins us now. Richard Windsor, is this a company that really has a coherent and successful strategy going forward, or is HP, do you think, still in a bit of a mess?
I think probably the second. We would say they're probably still in a bit of a mess. I mean, the issue is here that they hired Leo Apotheker a while ago, and his job, as far as we can view, really was to turn HP into IBM. They wanted to become a software company. He didn't get it right. He didn't get on with the board. He's now no longer working for them, and Nat Whitman's in charge, and they've turned all that on its head. So the real question mark is, how are you going to find sustainable long-term growth in a market which is becoming more and more about software, when only really 3% of your revenues are coming from the software market? And
another problem, of course, for HP was their underinvestment over the past few years. How much of a problem is that for HP and its ability now to make up some pace with its competitors?
It's a problem from the point, it's not necessarily a problem if you've got plenty of cash to make acquisitions, because you can always buy research and do the development yourself by buying small companies. Exactly, they haven't done that. So what's really got, and this is why, one of the reasons why the guidance is weaker than expected. They're going to have to ramp up R&D, increase investments, and what happens there is you have to pay for that before you reap the benefits of it, and it's going to be a little while coming, hence the disappointment on the guidance for next year.
Well, let's talk about the guidance for next year, because HP is not alone in its concerns about going into 2012. Just how much of an impact is this global slowdown having on HP and indeed other companies around the world?
Well, seeing as HP is the biggest shipper of PCs and printers, and it's a significant portion of their business, obviously quite a lot, because both PCs and printers are an area where basically the consumer, and also to some degree the enterprise, has not been inclined to spend very much over the last 6 months or so. Now, we don't think that's going to turn around really before the second half of next year, and so the underlying core business of HP is probably going to struggle at least for the first half of next year.
Richard, just stay there for a second. I just want to touch on another tech story involving some of HP's competitors. It's about HTC. It's lost a patent battle with Apple. The US International Trade Commission has ruled that Apple's products don't infringe patents held by S3 Graphics. That's a company in the process of being acquired by HTC. That outcome puts the rationale behind the $300 million deal in doubt. It's just one of a number of patent battles currently underway in the smartphone market. Apple, HTC, Samsung, Motorola, all disputing each other's designs. Richard Windsor, this seems to be an ever-expanding landscape, really, elan of this industry, these massive court battles. Does anybody actually, at the end of the day, come out on top?
Certainly the lawyers come out on top. I think you can say that for sure. The way we look at this now is the reason this whole situation has existed is because there's been an imbalance in patent ownership. One thing I think it's worth bearing in mind, HTC have lost this battle with S3, but if you also look on the newswires, you'll see that Motorola Mobility looks like they're going to win a fight against Apple over the iCloud in Germany. Motorola Mobility is currently being acquired by Google, which will use its patents to aid the Android community, i.e. HTC. So you've got a bit of give and take here. So at the end of the day, what we think is going to happen is, once Motorola is acquired by Google and the Android community has access to Motorola's patents, it'll be a much more level playing field, and we think that future disputes, and probably these ones as well, will be resolved in the negotiating room rather than in the courtroom.
And tablets and phones, they really are coming to the fore. Just going back to a final comment about HP, is it able to keep up with those changes in consumer tastes?
Well, I mean, the thing is, you look at HP outside of PCs is not really a consumer-oriented company, and I don't think you're going to see their strategy move in that direction. I mean, they've just given up on tablets. I think you'll see them do reasonably well, I suspect, in PCs as we move in towards the Ultrabook and the replacement cycle in the back end of next year. But the rest of the business, quite frankly, is mostly about the enterprise.
Richard Windsor of Nomura International in Dubai, I'm grateful to you. Thanks very much indeed.
Thanks very much for your time.